Chapter 28. Emma. By Saturday, I'm about ready to burst. I haven't mentioned naked Knightley to Hannah. Whenever we hang out, Avery is there. Which I don't really mind, but I'm not ready to open up that much to her. It's almost as if he's forgotten anything ever happened, and it's driving me mad. I can barely breathe in his direction without thinking about it all, and he's totally unbothered. So Saturday evening, I rush over to Jenna's apartment, hoping to catch her alone. Emma, this is a surprise. She always seems happy to see me. Did you want to come in? I was about to leave for Julian's. I need to talk to you. I pass her by and pace her apartment. I can call Julian and cancel. She's already reaching for her phone. No, it won't take that long. I'm not even sure what to say now. I'll walk with you. We can talk on the way. Okay? She sounds confused but puts on her boots and jacket. Is something wrong? I take a deep breath as we step into the hallway, and she locks the door. I saw Knightley naked. Oh. Her cheeks color. Was it an accident? Yes. But there's more. He saw me, masturbating. Like with a vibrator. And I'm pretty sure he saw, I gestured to my nether regions, the whole shebang. Jenna is beet red, as we get into the elevator. Was that an accident? Yes. There were a lot of accidents that night. It happened at the same time. Why do you think I was masturbating? Have you seen him naked? Jenna shakes her head. No, of course not. Well, I can't get the image out of my mind. And I don't know what to do. I think you need to be careful, Jenna says cautiously. He's your friend. And No's friend. I know. What does Knightley say? That's the frustrating part. He acts as if nothing even happened, and whenever I bring it up, he just goes on about wanting to be a good friend. I scowl and we leave the elevator and the building. Maybe that's just how he sees you. I know he values your friendship. And I don't think he wants to do anything that could endanger it. Cold nips at my nose as we walk down the icy sidewalk. But we basically saw each other naked. And somehow I can't bring myself to tell her about the thing he whispered to me. I can't because it doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense. Maybe it was a joke. If he sees you as a friend, he probably wants to put this behind you and move on. I groan. She's right. Besides, haven't you sworn off men? Love and relationships. I've sworn off love, not men. But you're right. I got confused because it was a strange thing that happened. We had a weird moment, and I'm overthinking it. That's all it is. Just put it in the past, and remember that he's your friend. I nod to myself. I've seen what love can do. And there's no way in hell I'll let that mess up the friendship between me and Knightley. I want none of that. Jenna's right. I've been overthinking things. It's as simple as that. Do you want to come in? I look up. We're outside of No's already. Oh no. I'm good. Come on, we're just going to order some pizza and watch a movie. I think Noah will be here as well. I smile. Sure, why not? We're greeted by arguing voices in the living room. Noah and Ellie are trying to decide on a movie. Julian appears in the doorway. Hi, Emma. What do you want on your pizza? He kisses Jenna on the cheek, and I make sure to turn away. Jenna hates public displays of affection, even in such a private setting. I've barely even seen them hold hands before. Pepperoni, extra cheese, olives, and more cheese. I love how he didn't even ask me if I was staying. But that's Julian. He's the one putting in the food orders, because he cares that everyone gets what they want. If Noah did it, he'd probably ask 2 people and then guess at the rest. And be wrong. Julian has his phone out and puts in the order, eyeing me suspiciously. I shrug. I'm having a bad day. I kick off my shoes and saunter into the living room. In my simple black sweater and jeans, I fit right in with the others. I had no thoughts of socializing when I went out in search of Jenna's advice. Ellie is sitting with the remote, arguing with Noah about the movie. Dee is watching her from the armchair. But what steals my attention is Knightley. He's sitting in a corner of the sofa, checking something on his phone, ignoring the fight. He leans forward and shows Dee whatever he's looking at. As if he can feel my eyes, he looks up, blinks a few times in surprise, then gives me a little half-smile before returning his attention to the phone. Pizza is on the way. Julian sits in the other corner of the sofa. Ellie gets up and sits in Dee's lap. Noah is occupying the other armchair, so unless I want to sit on the ottoman, which is not very comfortable, I have no choice but to follow Jenna and sit on the couch next to Knightley. But it's fine. I can do that. We're friends. We've watched movies together before. What are we watching? I ask, as I try to sit closer to Jenna than to Knightley. He seems to recognize my discomfort because he pushes further into the corner, away from me. We're not watching a horror movie, Noah says pointedly and stares at Ellie. Baby, she reaches out her tongue at him. Jenna grabs the remote and starts flicking through the movies. Just because I don't like the same kind of? What about this one? Jenna asks. She stopped on Lady Chatterley's Lover. Ellie hides a grin. Perfect. Noah is grinning openly. Fine, he says with a fake sigh. Let's watch some frou-frou movie about olden times. Knightley looks up from his phone. I don't think. Let's just start it already, Julian says. Or it'll be like last week when we spent 3 hours trying to decide. Knightley closes his mouth. I haven't seen the movie, so I'm not exactly sure what just happened here. But everyone seems to be eager to get it started. It doesn't take long before I realize what kind of movie it is. When the scene of Lady Chatterley on the sofa starts, I can barely breathe. I want to look over to see what Knightley thinks, but I'm afraid if I do, I'll turn as red as Jenna. Does it remind him of how he found me? I steal a glance, but his face is expressionless. But judging by how still he's sitting, I think maybe that is where his thoughts have strayed. At some point, Ellie and Dee find a blanket. A quick glance tells me something is going on under there that might not be totally appropriate. It's torture sitting next to Knightley watching the very explicit sex scenes. I can feel him stiffening as soon as they start, and I don't know what to do with myself. Well, Julian says when the movie is over. That was a movie. It sure was, Dee says. He stands up, holding Ellie in front of himself. If you'll excuse us, we have things and stuff to do. Noah chuckles as Dee ushers Ellie out of the room and up the stairs. Jenna is staring at the floor, red-faced and looking close to tears. I didn't know. I never read the book. It's fine. I smile and put a hand on her knee. We're all adults, Knightley says and starts gathering the napkins and pizza boxes. I'm off. Noah gets up from his chair. There's a sorority party tonight, and I think a few of the sisters will be very disappointed if I don't show up. Are you sure it's not the other way around? I ask. Because I'm pretty sure most women get devastated just by seeing you. He flips me off. Knightley, are you coming? Knightley glances back at me, and I almost think he's about to ask my permission. I blink and look away, finding an empty bottle on the floor by my feet. Knightley? Noah is impatiently standing by the door. Nah, I have some work I need to get done. Suit yourself. Noah shrugs. I'm going to get going, I say. Thanks for having me over, I smile at Jenna and Julian. Jenna is still not meeting anyone's eyes. Did you walk? Knightley asks. I nod. I'll come with you. He puts the napkins inside a pizza box and gets up. We get our jackets and step into the chilly night air. How's the talent show going? He asks after a few moments of silence. Stressful? I grimace. But we got Frank to agree to host. That's great. He sounds grumpy. It is. He put out the word, and we've already gotten so many donations. I'm really glad he agreed to help. The minute he announced it, our ticket sales went through the roof. Good. You've put in a lot of hard work. Heavy snowflakes tumbled down around us, muffling all sound. We have the performances all settled. Except, we might have to let Edwin's fiancé perform because they offered to pay for the sound guy. What sound guy? Wait. Edwin's engaged? Yeah. I sigh. He showed up with his fiancée to one of the meetings, practically demanding we let her do some cheerleading routine. We said no, of course. But our sound guy got greedy, and we can't afford to pay what he wants. So now Edwin wants to make a deal. You didn't have a contract with the sound guy? We did, but once he found out Frank was going to be there, he suddenly needs more money. It's a mess. Maybe you should let the fiancé perform. I groan. She's really bad. I saw her practice earlier today. I'm hoping we come up with another solution. But this whole thing is stressing me out. The show is a week from today, and I really thought we had all of this settled. I could do it. He says it so casually I just squint at him. Do what? The sound. I have access to a sound system, and I've done stuff like that before. I didn't know that. Wait. I stare at him. That's right. You were in the AV club. He smirks. I was so cool back then. I smile at him. I seem to remember you had no trouble hanging with the cool kids. Anyway, I'm not sure what you're looking for, but I think I could handle it. I even did some stuff for one of the sororities last year. Are you serious? We can't pay very much. And how much is the sound system going to cost? I'll cover it. I was going to donate anyway, so it's not a big deal. I stop in my tracks. The snowfall makes the world soft, dampening any sounds. A snowflake lands in his hair. Slowly, a smile spreads across my face as he turns to me. Just like that, he's removed most of my stress. Oh my God. I squeal and jump up and down. Oh my God. Thank you. Without thinking, I throw my arms around his neck and hug him tightly. He laughs a little as his arms sneak around me and lift me off the ground. I close my eyes and inhale his scent. The hug lingers just a bit too long. My heart is beating so hard I'm certain he can feel it, even through the jackets. I raise my head but keep my arms around his neck. He puts me down and moves his hands to my waist as if to steady me. I look up. Our eyes meet. He drops his gaze to my lips. His face is so close to mine, his hands holding me tight. He exhales and my eyes are drawn to his full lips. He's going to kiss me. My breaths are shallow as I wait for his face to lean in. But it doesn't. He clears his throat and looks away, letting his arms drop from me. Disappointment surges through me, and I let go of him, pretending nothing had been about to happen. Because it hadn't. I really appreciate it, I say as we start walking again. No problem. We walk the rest of the way in silence, but as soon as we're inside and our jackets are off, I hesitate. I don't want the night to end. He breaks the silence. Do you want some cereal? I bought that healthy stuff you like. It's not really healthy, I say and take a seat at the counter. It just doesn't have quite as much sugar as the kids' stuff you eat. He puts out bowls and spoons and grabs the milk. I reach for the cereal I actually like. It tastes like cardboard, he says. Anything that tastes that bad has to be healthy. I shake my head and add some milk to my bowl, while he sits across from me and pours what most people would classify as candy into his bowl. Again, he's the one who breaks the silence. So, Julian has been thinking about proposing to Jenna. What? I'm not sure when he'll do it, but he says he's sure he wants to spend the rest of his life with her. That's amazing. He glances up at my smiling face. You don't think it's too soon? I don't know. I mean, they're both young, but also they were both 30 when they were 15, if you know what I mean. I think I know. And they feel solid. I thought you were all anti-love. Before I answer, I chew slowly and swallow. I'm not against others finding love. I encourage it, you know that. Just not you. I stir what's left in my bowl. Love isn't for me. When he doesn't answer, I walk around the counter and put the bowl in the sink. Good night. He gets up and the kitchen feels small. He's so present, it's like he's surrounding me. Good night, he says in a low, deep voice that makes me inhale. I pass him by, and our arms graze against each other. I instinctively slow down, as if I want to prolong the touch. Then I'm moving. Retreating to the safety of my bedroom. Chapter 29. Emma. It is the last meeting before the talent show, and everyone is there. As I arrive, I spot Knightley, leaning against the wall outside of the room at the library where we usually meet. Thanks for coming, I say. No problem. He follows me inside, and I immediately notice Gwen's attention turn to him. I sit in my usual seat next to Hannah. Knightley sits on my other side. Let's make this quick, Freya says. She has more and more taken on the role of speaker during the meetings. Which I don't mind. She keeps things moving. Without her, the meetings would have taken twice as long. I have things to do. She glances up at Knightley before she sorts her papers. This is Maxwell Knightley, I say. He'll be doing the sound. That's good. We have access to the venue from early Saturday morning. This means we have to get everything set up on the day. And since we agreed to have at least one run-through with the talent, we have to get there early. So nobody make any big plans for tomorrow night. I don't want you all hungover when we need to hustle. Freya eyes us all. Sam turns red and she squints at him. I mean it. I wasn't going to, he says in a falsetto. She just stares. Fine, I'll cancel. Good. Let's go through everything we need to do. Freya leads us through a step-by-step process for preparing the venue. She's made detailed lists of everything from the set decor to the concession stand setup, and nobody dares contradict her. She has a few questions for Knightley, and he asks for a set list so he can prepare. Some acts have their own music, and some just need some form of background music. A few of them need microphones. Knightley just makes some notes and says it will all be done. We go over pretty much everything we possibly could go over, but Freya is on a mission and gets it done in record time. Anything else? She asks while glaring at us. Everyone shakes their heads. Great, then use tomorrow to get everything ready and packed, and I will see you on Saturday morning. She puts away her tablet, a signal that the meeting is over. I turn to Knightley. Thanks again for doing this. Oh yes, Gwen says from the other side of the table. Maxwell, is it? Thank you so much for doing this for us. Of course, it would have worked out anyway. She flutters her lashes at him. I'm sure you'll do a great job. Knightley raises an eyebrow at her, then he looks at me. You're welcome, Emma. I'm always happy to help you out. He smirks. You ask and I obey. I blink a few times. So are you two a thing? Gwen asks and wiggles a finger between us. We're just friends, I say quickly and put my stuff in my bag. I can feel Knightley's eyes lingering on me. Really, Gwen says and points at Knightley. Because I have someone in mind for you. I don't like her smile. She looks like she wants to throw him to the wolves. I'm good, Knightley says. I get up and he follows me. I'll see you Saturday. Hannah says with a careful look over at Edwin, who is talking to Sam. See you then. I nod at her as she hurries out. Probably eager to get away from Edwin and Gwen. So then I could set you up with my friend, Gwen says. I wouldn't mind having you around to look at. I roll my eyes. He's not an object, Gwen. And shouldn't you be focusing on your future husband? She shrugs and I want to slap her for the way she's eyeing Knightley. But he just turns to me. Are you ready to go home? I drove here. I'm ready. I don't miss the way Gwen glares after us as we leave, but I don't care what she thinks. I like Knightley's car. It's not as fancy as Dee's brand new one, but every detail has been chosen with care. From the seats to the steering wheel, he's made it his own. I buckle up for the short ride and can't help but stare at his hands. He handles it cautiously, gently. It's been a long day, and it's oddly relaxing being in the car with him. Knightley clears his throat. I look up at his face. His attention is still on the road. I wait. It sounds like you're all ready for Saturday, he finally says. Pretty much. I'm about to say more when Noah's name flashes on the display. Knightley sighs and pushes a button. Knightley, Noah's voice fills the car. Glad I caught you, man. I have the sweetest deal going. But I need you. So what do you say? Are you prepared to go on a date on Saturday around noon? Who with, you might ask? Well, you're never going to believe this, the yoga sisters. And when I say date, I mean a yoga session. I told them all about you, and bro, it's pretty much a guaranteed lay. Knightley glances over at me and clears his throat. I'm busy on Saturday. Busy doing what? Just reschedule. Did I tell you that these are the hottest women I've ever seen? That do yoga. Emma asked me to help with the talent show. I smile at him, and am just about to say something when Noah groans. Man, she has you whipped. I'm just helping out. I can hear Noah rolling his eyes. Fine. But if you change your mind, let me know. I won't change my mind. Bye. He pushes a button, and the call disconnects. He pulls into the parking spot, and we get out. You know, I say as we get into the elevator, if you want to hang out with the yoga sisters, I'm sure we could manage without you for a couple of hours. There's enough time to set up the sound system before or after. I told you I'd help, and I will. I smile. Even if Noah thinks you're whipped. The way he looks at me has me questioning everything I thought I knew. There's a softness in his eyes, almost as if he wished he were whipped. The elevator doors open and interrupt whatever was happening. I trail him into the apartment and hide in my room. But no matter what I try, it's impossible to sleep. I toss and turn for an hour, worrying about the show, thinking about that look in Knightley's eyes. My mind races back and forth, keeping me from finding any rest. I finally give up and get up. I'm only wearing an oversized t-shirt, but it's the middle of the night, so I don't bother putting anything else on before I go out to the kitchen. I rub my face and stop in my tracks. Knightley is there. Shirtless. Drinking water. He spots me and coughs a bit. Are you okay? Fine, he wheezes and avoids looking at me. Water, he asks. I nod and he opens the fridge. I take another step into the kitchen, acutely aware of the fact that I'm not wearing any underwear. Nervous about the show? He offers me a bottle, and our fingers touch as I take it. A bit. He's standing right in front of me, and the soft light makes his tattoo look almost magical. I think it's going to be great, he says softly. My fingers reach out to trail the lines of his tattoo. It's large, it covers almost the entire left side of his chest. He holds his breath. You don't like tattoos, he says. It's growing on me. My voice is too soft. His eyes are on my mouth. I place my hand on his naked chest. On his tattoo. You are incredibly hot, he says. So are you. He inhales and puts down his water. When he takes a step back, my hand wants to follow. But I pull it back, closing my fist as if I could keep the essence of him there. He straightens and his face gets serious. Butterflies twirl in my stomach, and I can sense that something important is coming. I try to steady my breathing as he opens his mouth. Am I imagining things? He asks. What kind of things? He looks at me, and all those poor butterflies catch fire and smolder. He grabs my wrist and holds it, looking at the hand that was touching his tattoo. Am I imagining things? I shake my head. Tell me, he growls. No. You're not imagining things. But Noah. I nod and he lets go of my wrist. Maybe we're both imagining things, I say with a slight shrug and try to ignore the stinging tears that threaten to fall. Maybe. He pulls a hand through his hair and chuckles mirthlessly. It could be that we know nothing can come of it, so we keep thinking about it, I say. He nods. We only want it because we know it can't happen. That makes sense. Maybe it'll go away, I say with a sad smile. Or. He steps closer. If we actually kissed, then we'd notice it's all in our heads. His face fills my vision, and for a heartbeat I think he's leaning in. I break eye contact and put my water bottle on the counter, staring at it. Probably, I say. When I look back, he places a hand on my waist. Only the thin fabric of my t-shirt separates us. He looks tortured. What is it? I ask. I don't want to do anything that could endanger our friendship. Me either. I like you. Whatever this is, it's probably just some strange overflow of emotion because we're living together. We just need to get it out of our system, and then everything will be back to normal. Right? Because you don't do love. We smile at each other. He leans in and I turn my face up to his. I close my eyes. His lips find mine in a soft, gentle touch. My hands travel up his chest and around his neck. He sighs and presses his lips harder to mine. The world melts away. I want this. When the tip of his tongue reaches out, mine is waiting. I open my mouth for him and he claims it. He runs his tongue over mine, grabbing my waist and holding me closer to his body. I cling to him, as if he's the one thing that will save me. The kiss is filled with passion. It's the most magnetic, electrifying kiss I have ever experienced. I run my hands over his shoulders, and moan as he nips at my bottom lip. His hands move down to my hips and slowly up under my shirt. With a start, he jumps back, pushing me away. I stumble and bump into the fridge door. Ow, I say. I think you bit my lip. I touch it gently with a finger. He's breathing hard. Very hard. His eyes are dark and his fists clenched. You're not wearing any underwear. The words are pure gravel. I blink in confusion. You are not wearing underwear. Each word sounds pained. My eyes move down his body. There is a very noticeable bulge in his pants. He's hard. I swallow. He drags his hand through his hair. You can't go around without underwear. The laugh that erupts is strange. Don't you know what that does to me?